आपादमौलिपर्यन्तां गुरूणाम् आकृतिं स्मरेत्येन विघ्नं प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्ति च मनोरथः लक्ष्मीतनौतु नितरामितरानपेक्षमङ्गृद्वयं निगमशाखिशिखाप्रवालं हैरम्बमम्बुरुहडम्बरचौर्यनिघ्नं विघ्नाद्रिभेदशतधारधुरन्धरन्नः सर्वेषां स्वागतम्. This is the positive psychology session for 21st shloka. So in the 21st and 22nd, we usually see some direct references. That is, we are giving reference to Shruti Pramana, which is Taittiriya Upanishad from Vajina Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And then we speak about Drishtanta, the nature of Drishtanta. We have seen these two. Now, when it comes to any kind of information and bringing about a positive change using that information, comparisons are usually said to be and they have some kind of a negative connotation, like let us not compare ourselves to somebody else, but inadvertently being in a society we cannot avoid it. That is the nature of social interactions, because obviously if I'm aiming for something better, let us say, how do we get about that better? Because it is a comparative degree, it has to be with something else. I'm not even thinking about sustaining myself. Let us say I want a better paycheck. What do we mean by better? Not even thinking about somebody else. I am comparing myself with the current state and with the state that I want to be. So there are comparisons. Comparisons are actually unavoidable. It's not possible for us to forego it. So then the question occurs, how to use comparisons? If since we have already decided, we have made a uh, we've given a verdict that it is not going to be possible to avoid comparisons. So now what we have to do is we have to use these comparisons to reach a positive state of mind. How do we do that? That concept is called as positive comparison. This positive comparison, see, often comparing ourselves to someone can lead to negative emotions. That I have already specified that negative emotions can also be converted to positive emotions through acceptance. But there also it takes time to accept that somebody is better than you, to to accept some uncertainty, because it is easier said than done, as I've mentioned many a times. If there is some unknown fear, if I accept it, it becomes an adventure. But then how can I just accept it? That the process of that acceptance is also different. So that also has to be dealt with. Now, using this positive comparison, how am I supposed to achieve a positive state of mind? So there are different kinds of strategies used. So one such strategy is with respect to upward comparison. What do you mean by upward comparison? Somebody is is in a better state that I want to be in, and I'm comparing myself to them. Here, it should be compared with the prerana bhava. Prerana bhava, it is with respect to, it should invoke inspiration. So it is not wrong for me to compare myself with any other YouTube channel. As long as I see that YouTube channel and I see, okay, maybe I should also improve myself in terms of this. When I do that, with that intention to bring about a better change in myself, then I'm using prerana bhava. So that upward comparison is with the sense of is to bring about inspiration, is to bring about betterness in you. It is some betterment in you. It is about bringing a more efficient quality. So that has to be understood. So that leads to some kind of achievement. This is one strategy when it comes to positive comparison. That is when we are comparing ourselves to somebody who's at a higher state of well-being. So the comparison must be with the prerana bhava. Now, what if we are comparing ourselves with somebody who is in a lower state of mind? We never do that. Technically speaking, we never do that, because jealousy arises only when we compare ourselves to somebody who's better than us, or we think he is better than us. But we never do the downward comparison. But downward comparison must also be done. In what bhava again? In kritagna bhava. Kritagnata, gratitude, a sense of gratitude. So having that sense of gratitude, and then having that comparison. Oh, see, I am better off than somebody else. It brings about higher value to whatever I possess. My current state only. It is bringing about a better value, or rather, it is uh, giving me a better understanding of what I possess. So my value is increasing. So downward comparison must be done with gratitude. Upward comparison must be done with inspiration. So these two must be understood. Then comparisons must be done, but it must not be without self. Without self, as in, if I am just comparing without bringing a change in myself, then it is going to be a big problem. Because I'm not doing anything. Comparison is not bad. Comparing ourselves to somebody, either better off or worse off, can actually be good. But if I am not willing to change with respect to that particular comparison, then I'm stagnant. Then I'm in that state of mind. So, comparison must be achieved through, the element is primarily bringing about a change in ourselves. So, if I'm comparing myself at an upward vertical, then the change must be, how do I make myself efficient? If I'm comparing myself with a downward vertical, somebody at a lower vertical, the intention must be to realize what I have, the value of what I have. So the change must be with ourself. Comparison must not lead to a change that is beyond us, because that leads to negative actions. Whatever is the comparison must be within, the comparison must lead to a change within us. Then again, there is one more problem. When I say it must be within us, there is something called as a tortured mind, where we keep comparing ourselves to someone and saying that, oh, that person is doing that, even I want to do that, even though I'm not capable of it, or even if I don't want to do it, I force myself to do it, like trying to work in a work environment, trying to beat a colleague, something like that. So here, what we need to do, there has to be a peer comparison, must be done with support. So support, as in, there should be shared experience. That means I'm feeling, the one of the um, trickiest thing to explain about the mind is that dilution of ideas with expression. That means I'm feeling great source of jealousy. There is something over there that I'm comparing myself with my colleague, and I'm saying I envy that person. Surprisingly enough, when I express it, the power of that emotion gets diluted. So peer-to-peer comparison can also be done. It is very tricky. It happens, and it is when we are not aware of it, self-awareness, lacking self-awareness is a big problem over there. But one of the easiest way to dilute the negative strength of that emotion is peer-to-peer comparison by mutual sharing. That is by explaining, not even acceptance, by explaining, expressing that particular jealousy. That means saying that, look, I was jealous of you for this. I am jealous of you for this. Expression actually takes away that emotional strength that can lead to action. So it is better to express it. So peer comparison with support can actually help very well. But then again, it's not pursued very much because I said mutual sharing. Well, it's not likely that if I share, the person is also going to share. The best way to do it is through sharing experiences, not directly saying it, but through experiences. Like asking the person what was his experience humanizes that particular glory. Like, for example, in case of Rama, also thinking about, oh, he's the great Ramachandra, Raja Rama, etc., etc., is glorified version of that person. If we look into Ramayana and when we humanize whatever he has been through, then we try to understand and value that person better rather than saying that, oh, he was already a born king, etc., etc. And the biggest comparison with biggest negative threat with respect to peer comparison is that we feel that the other person is coming from a place of privilege. Why did that person get this job? Why did that person get appointed for this? How did he do it? He was able to do it because he got better support. He's able to do it because he has better resources. Oh, if I had resources, even I could have done it. So the peer-to-peer comparison basically invokes that one particular notion that that other person is actually coming from a place of privilege. So the best way to dilute that is to share experiences. Ask the person about the experience. Find out what his privilege is actually. When we do that, it humanizes his success. That means it makes us feel that, okay, fine. These are, if either if we feel that even we are able to do it, but we didn't get the opportunity, we feel that, okay, no, this person we realize that if the kind of obstacles that he did face was something that we need to consider before we claim that we too are capable of it. That is one way. Or if we feel that disadvantaged, we feel that, okay, that person is able to do it because of that, I don't have that kind of knowledge, or I don't have that kind of resources with me to do it. Then asking about the experience, sharing experiences humanizes his success enough to say that, okay, even he went through different kinds of obstacles. Even with the resources, whatever he has, even he had to go through obstacles. So he didn't even if I had all those things, then I would still be facing. Even if I had the same resources also, even I have to face those obstacles. It was not easy. So humanizing the comparisons. So these are some of the strategies to convert the negative emotions that result from comparisons to positive emotions. Positive, they are there. Positive comparisons can also be made into a positive invocations, but it is with respect to the way we treat them and how to approach them with certain people and certain context. So this is the concept of positive comparison. There's more to it. Since we are talking about example and drishtanta in the 22nd shloka, we will continue with positive comparison over there also. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः प्रतिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।